Hello everybody, welcome for a new video. I've been working today on this iPhone 15, which I already took apart and I didn't work on it yet, I did make measurements. And its problem, it was sent to me because it was not charging. So charging through cable wasn't working and charging through wireless was not working either. Um, this would tend to indicate that there might be a problem with the charging IC itself, even though at this point I'm not sure. But also, when I was experimenting with it, I did check if it was detected by the computer when you connect it through the USB-C cable. And what happened was that it would appear in iTunes and then it would disappear, appear, disappear, appear, disappear constantly, and I wouldn't be able to get a stable connection. These iPhones are pretty annoying because, as you know, the boards, it's two boards which are soldered on top of each other, except that the battery connector is here on the top board and the charging connector is here also on the top board. However, the charging circuit and the USB detection circuit are on the bottom board, which means that charging issues and communication with the computer issues could be as simple as just a connection between the two boards. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind with these models, which was not the case with the previous ones, is that, it was the case with 14 also, but before, up to iPhone 13, battery connector, charging connector, power on circuit, charging circuit, USB detection circuit, all this was on the top board only. Now they separated everything between the two boards. So anyhow, this is something that you have to keep in mind when diagnosing these things, even though in this case, I don't believe it's the problem. I found at least one of the problems, and I'm going to explain you how I did find it. And this problem is most probably the USB control IC. And more importantly than fixing this device, because okay, this is one thing in itself, I'm going to use this opportunity to do some research because this is the first time I have an iPhone 15. And if you've been following the repair news and everything, logic board repair news, you should know that since they introduced these USB control ICs, which I'm going to show you. Oh. So this is the USB-C control IC. The USB-C control IC, it's in fact is itself some kind of small microprocessor. It's like a small computer in itself, and it needs a boot ROM. Like most CPUs, they need a BIOS in order to boot completely. And this one, the boot ROM is here. And apparently, from what I've been watching on YouTube videos or reading on forums, is that the USB control IC and the boot ROM are paired to each other, meaning that if I just change this IC, because the boot ROM, if I change only this IC without also changing the boot ROM, which is paired with the new IC, we shouldn't get charging. We shouldn't get PC detection either, and apparently we lose touch also. This is one thing that that was discovered pretty early, but also the USB control IC itself has firmware. So there's firmware in here, but there's also firmware in here, and this firmware is itself tied to the device. Meaning that, for example, if I this is an iPhone 15. If I expect to change this IC, I should also get an iPhone 15 IC. Because if I get, for example, a 15, so it's already been documented that if you take a 15 Pro or Pro Max IC and you put it here, it won't work. What I don't know is if it will work with a 15 Plus or not. So this is what I mean by saying I want to experiment, because it so happens that I do have donor boards, but my donor boards all are 15 Plus. So the surprise is going to be, will I be able to get the device to work and to charge normally with changing the USB control IC from this 15 using a 15 Plus USB control IC. And then if it doesn't work, I want to see if by flashing the device, the charging and USB detection will work again. Because maybe if you flash the device with iTunes, then maybe it flashes also the firmware on this IC. I don't know. So this is what I want to check. So first, how do I know that this IC is defective? Well, it's easy. Sorry. This IC is actually very similar to the USB control ICs on MacBooks. So I'm quite used to how they work, more or less. And if you watch the MacBook videos, you know that, well, once this IC is getting power from the USB-C cable, it should wake up its LDOs. So it has a 3v3 LDO and a 1.5 LDO, just like the CD3217s. And then it should keep booting up, etc. And what I did was just, okay, I connect the power through the charging cable, and then I check if the LDOs are up. And what I noticed was that the 3v3 LDO was not up. And the 3v3 LDO is in fact shorted, or it has pretty low, it's not completely shorted to ground, but it has a pretty low resistance. So it's here. You see, I'm measuring. Like the multimeter is not happy at all with it. Wait, what? Okay. So the multimeter is indicating 40 ohms to ground, which is not normal at all for the 3v3 LDO. Let me show you on the board view that this is what we're looking at. So here, 3v3 LDO for the USB-C control IC, PP3v3 LDO E85. So this is a line that has a problem, and you can see here it's a little dirty. That's because I soldered a cable in order to apply voltage and use the thermal camera to see where the power is going, and it was very obvious that the IC itself was heating up around here. So I'm 100% sure that this IC is defective. So what I'm going to do is first replace the USB control IC only with a USB control IC from 15 Plus. So which means that the USB IC and the boot ROM will not be matched together, and then I'm going to see what happens. And then if it doesn't work, I'm going to flash the phone, see if that solves the mismatch between the two. And if that still doesn't work, I'm going to replace the boot ROM with the boot ROM from that is matched with this with a new USB control IC. So it might be a pretty long video, and most people won't be interested, but actually I'm interested. And this is actually how you learn. Because often people ask me, "Oh, how do you know so much? How did you learn everything that you learned, that you know?" Well, you just learn by experimenting. And if the knowledge is not already available on the internet, then you have to figure it out by yourself. So let's do this. Let me see if I have a board holder for 15. 15. There you go. So it is turning on, but let me change the view or add this. So here I'm gonna show you power supply. So I'm putting 9 volts. There is no the power supply is staying at 5 volts. The phone turns on. I don't have touch, and of course no charging, because as you can see there's no current going on. So let me see. Do I flash first, or do I? Or first, I want to see if I can put it in restore mode, and get the phone to be recognized by the computer. Wait, I would have to connect it now to the computer. So oh, it is detected by the computer. Huh. Let me see if I can get 3utools. To show up. This is interesting. Let me. For some reason I cannot mirror the 3utools. Let me see if I can find it. There you go. So the phone here, you can see the phone is on, but it is showing up as 15 plus in DFU mode. So that's very interesting. Do I flash first, or do I replace the boot ROM first? I'm gonna flash it. I'm gonna flash it, but I do believe Face ID should be connected if I want to flash it. So I'm gonna do that. So let me in general, it's better to have everything connected when you flash the phone, just in case Apple has some new rules that that they want to they want everything to be detected. It happens. So the safest is to connect everything. Gee. Hmm. So, oh, I need to download the software. Hmm. While the software is downloading, I'm checking whether the battery is charging wirelessly. Here, you probably can't see, but it says the battery is at 1%, and I'm sure it was not at 1% before. So it's kind of weird behavior. And I'm trying wireless charging. Wireless charging is not working. So, hmm. So this is this is really weird. I'm still experimenting. So I put it in restore mode, but it is still showing. You can see here it says DFU mode. Uh, Here. It still shows as DFU mode and still 15 plus. I got a feeling that this is not gonna work. I'm gonna have to find a 15 donor board, I guess. And let's try put it in DFU mode now. So now I put it in DFU mode, but now it's not showing up as anything. Fishy. And then 3utools is exiting with an error. Okay, it's not happy. Okay. I don't think that's gonna work because it thinks it's a 15 plus. Let me try and force it in DFU mode using the hardware, because I don't think let me think. Let me quit this. This is interesting. I don't really know what to do. It doesn't it shows up in DFU mode whatever happens, so I can't be sure that it is really in DFU mode. I think I'm gonna have to do it with a jumper just to be sure. So this means taking everything apart. But so there's something interesting though, which is that the way the phone identifies itself apparently is coded in the USB control IC, because I only changed this and now the phone shows up as iPhone 15 Plus. So that's a new one. Okay. So first I need to find where the DFU control pin is. So I'm gonna need the schematic. It should be somewhere around here. So let's look at force DFU. It should be this. Just let's see if there's somewhere else. Ah, there's a test point for force DFU. So it's here. Okay. It's this test point here, and I need to power it with one. I have to find 1.8 volts somewhere in order to power it. Where can I find this? Usually around the SSD you can. So PP2V65, PP1V24, PP0V83. I guess I'm gonna use this 1V24. Usually it should be 0.8, but hey. And oh, where's DFU status? Where is it? DFU status. PCB signal. So DFU status can be measured here. Okay. If I remember well, there should be a 1V24 somewhere here. Nope. Really, no 1 point. Oh yeah. Okay, so I think at this point this is too complicated. First, I'm going to do what's the easiest thing, which is to now I'm going to put the ROM, the boot ROM. It's easier than doing all this DFU business. So let's first change the boot ROM. So there you go, it's charging. Now that I changed the boot ROM, it is charging and it is turning on. Let's see if touch works. So now touch works. Battery is now showing 19%. Earlier it was showing like 1% or 2%. Let me see if it charges wirelessly. You can see it is unclear. Like it's only putting 3 watts wirelessly. This is not really normal. Usually it should be like 10 watts, around 10 watts. So I don't know if wireless charging is working. Or I'll see that later. Now, what happens if I connect it to the computer? Does it still show in DFU mode, whatever? Nope. So it is working kind of normally. Okay. Ah, yeah. So I can't connect it to the computer because the user has enabled what the stupidest thing that Apple has made, which is like stolen device protection. So now, in order to connect it to the computer, it needs to see my face, the face that's registered. It needs Face ID to work, and you need to unlock it with Face ID. But obviously, I'm not the owner of this phone, so it's not my face that's registered in it. So I cannot connect the phone to the computer. That's very stupid. So anyhow, at least is it charging? Yes, it is charging, but I cannot connect it to the computer because I don't have Face ID. So now I'm gonna put it in restore mode and see if it shows up as iPhone 15 or 15 Plus, just out of curiosity. So what does it say? iPhone 15. So now that the boot ROM matches the USB-C control IC, the phone identifies itself correctly. So this is all very interesting. I don't think I'm going to experiment much more because this phone belongs to a customer, and obviously the data wasn't saved. So, I mean, they told me that I can wipe it if I want, but they would prefer having the data. So, but now that I'm sure that we have the data, I think I'll do my other experiments using iCloud locked boards rather than a customer's board. But there you go. Interesting behavior. So if so there are a few conclusions which are interesting. So in order to, if the USB-C control IC on a 15 is dead, you can replace it with the one from a 15 Plus. And you need to transfer the boot ROM also. I know that this is not the case on 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max, for example. If you replace the USB-C control IC from a 15 Pro from a 15 Pro or Pro Max onto the other model and with the boot ROM, I do know that you will still have issues and the phone still won't be working. So on the Pro Max, you really need to use Pro to fix a Pro or Pro Max to fix a Pro Max, but you cannot just mix Pro and Pro Max. That's what I understand. And now I made this experiment on 15 and 15 Plus, and apparently you can use 15 Plus to fix 15, or I guess vice versa. You just need to transfer the boot ROM. Okay, so at least that was interesting for me. I don't know for you. If you're into board repair, this must have been interesting. If you're not, then I'm sorry for the video being so long. Anyway, thank you for watching, and see you next time.